Here. Our conversation with Troy head coach Scott Cross is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust, the only bank you'll ever need. Coach, is there an easy place in this league to get a win?
No, I knew it was going to be tough. I mean, if you look at all their scores, they've been close. They've been right there. You know, go to triple overtime with Marshall. I mean, they've got a good team. They have good weapons, and they played really, really hard tonight. You know, they had us down 10 there in the second half. Our guys could have folded. We called the timeout. You know, I ripped them pretty good, and they responded. It was great to see. You know, Nelson was one guy that, you know, kind of got out of his zone and was, you know, not doing the things that he needed to do, and he kind of lost it a little bit, and then we put him back in, and then he changed the game for us like he has in the last two games. And so I was really, really good to see, like, his growth. Like, before, you know, there's been times where maybe if that happens, you know, he just shut it down, and then this game he changed it. Once he flipped that switch, you know, it was game over after that.
A minute 17 to go in the fourth. Well, even before that, when Phillips got the rebound, dribbled it out, and took the three-pointer to tie there. Big shot for him.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, you know, I talked about that. Maybe the confidence wouldn't have been in there to take that shot or to make that shot. He's a confident shooter now.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, we have good shooters, and, you know, all we ask is just take good shots. And when they're open, we want them to shoot it. There were times in the first half where we passed up wide open shots. So we want our guys to be shot ready. We don't really want them to shoot, you know, dribble, step back threes when they're closely guarded. But, you know, late in the shot clock, we may need to get one of those dribble, step back threes. But early in the shot clock, we want to work it, try and get the ball in the paint, try and get a catch and shoot three. You know, I thought our guys did a pretty good job with it. The one downside with this game was probably our turnovers. We got a little careless with the basketball. That, I think, kept Arkansas State in it. Credit to them, because you know, they were getting after it, and they were fighting. You know, they're fighting for their lives, and you know, they played hard for Coach, and you know, they probably, if you look at it, I mean, they were just as deserving of winning this game as we were. I'm looking at the stat sheet, and they held the lead for 22 minutes. So, but hats off to our guys for getting it done. That's what you're supposed to do if you're going to be a winner, and at the top of the league, you got to win close games like this.
I thought down that with a minute 17 to go, when Muhammad hit the three-pointer at the top to give you the lead, I thought a lot of that was done by Spud. He kind of drew the defense in there, and he found the open guy.
They have to guard him because he's such a good driver, and he's such a good shooter. And then Zay set a good screen for Amir, and that's a hard shot. I mean, we drew it up in the timeout, but to go out there and execute it, and then, you know, Amir raised up over his guy and just drilled it. I mean, that was the dagger right there. Nelson's was a dagger, and then that one too. And those two threes gave our guys the confidence to get those stops down the stretch.
Nelson hit a couple of big free throws down to get that lead back up to 3. They called the timeout across midcourt. What was your message to the team defensively there? What was important?
We told them, you know, this is what we do defensive boot camp for. This is what we do one-on-one guard your yard every single day. You know, this is what we do. And so just, you know, all we need is to get a stop and we win this game. And so, you know, it wasn't necessarily pretty, but we got it done. We got the stops down the stretch. And that's one thing about this team. We've had lapses defensively, but when it gets down the stretch, this team's been really good getting stops, you know, last 2 minutes of the game.
If you believe in the metaphor of, you know, putting the sword into the fire and tempering the steel with the hammer, this is one of those games that does that. This team comes out stronger just from going through this thing.
Yeah, it's a character builder. I mean, we haven't been great on the road the last couple of games, and so, you know, to pull one out, you know, is a great step in the right direction, and it'll give our guys confidence going into Marshall, because, you know, they're in third place right now, and we're going to need to go in there and play tough and play confident, but we're more than capable of winning. If we play great defense, I know we can go in there and get a sweep out of this series.
Well, you go into Marshall with some great momentum, Coach. That's a big challenge up there, but they've got to face the Trojans too.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the opportunity. You know, we've got 4 wins in a row, which is probably as good as anybody in the league right now. So it's a great time to go up there and knock them off.
Yeah, Coach, I appreciate the time. Congratulations. That was a memorable one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Scott Cross's comments brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust, the only bank you'll ever